Hello, you're welcome to Tech Hustler on YouTube. We're a Python intermediate. If you mess up says unsubscribe to this channel, we'll hit on the subscribe button. And we'll press on the notification button. Send a next time you post here, we'll notification. We're a Python intermediate. In this video, the become asem a nested data structures. So because the nested data structures are we probably say a day. The nested data structures no. Data structure, a sensible data structure. So, for example, a student, on the student, ankasa so on one a subject. Even so, let's say multiple subjects with different characteristics, and I say with different elements. So, if you are subjects, about one scores, about one continuous assessment, about one memory, offer product, a product, and ankasa about one about different kinds of what attributes. If your product about one orders, about one inventory, and as a offer user profile or some sort of settings, or better my saying a permission. And so offer API return JSON. Okay, and then JSON it comes with nested data structures. So when we talk about nested data structures, nested data structure a data essential another data structures so for example, okay, we have students here, and then the students we have John having its own scores for math and English, and then we have Amma having its own scores for math and English. Same for Kwame here. These are an item a student, and as you can see, students a dictionary, and so also answer John a value as a dictionary. We also a value as a dictionary. Okay, so this become a nested data structures. Okay, so another one, so I can so be a fancy a list. So let me see numbers, and then numbers now we can have a list within it. See 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can have another list again. So with this we can say 10, 20, 30, and then 40. Then we have another one which we can say 2, 4, 6, 8. So let me comment them out. Okay, so we a list, that is numbers, and then offer numbers now a list. But also my items na what list in mono. Also a list. Okay. So in this case, because we also nested data structures. And I believe say we a very simple amount here. Say a kind of nested data structure, meaning say a data structure no, it has another data structures in it. Okay, let's move on. So now, what if we want to look through a data structure? So first, I will take a list. Okay. We want to read or access the items in this list, which is a nested data structure. So I loop it through this list, and I say so access items now or this list. So what if we want to display only this? So in this a list in a room, but when we consider it, we can say it's an item because our listing. So now, see a display. A quite be so a display. Okay. Here you have say. On say you say a list. Now this is a list item. I want index. We also a list item and also I want index. And then this one too has an item and also I want index. Yambra. So if it be an index, I mean say we index a 0. We also index a 0 1. And then we also index a 2. So if I want to print the second one, then I'll say print numbers 1. So my printing ways is here, it should give me 10, 20, 30, and what? 50. I believe you can see this. What if I only want the second number in the second list, or in the second item of this numbers? Okay, I want to print 20. That is the second one in this list. How do I do it? So if I want to print this, I already have access to this. So if I want to have access to this, I have to know the index of this 20 in the list of this. Okay, so this is a list on its own. Okay, and then this is also a list on its own. So if there are lists, element be a will be an item be a will be an index, a specific index. So here in this list, so let's all count index now, and also one index I also started on its own. So I also started from 0. So let's know the index of 20. So if this is 0, 0, 1, so we also see a 1. So made me square brackets be and then also about 1. If I print this, I'm supposed to have what? 20. So as you can see, that's how it goes. So I'm going to pair the third number 2, and then we pair the last item of this. Okay, so we know that the last item of every list is -1. So here we are supposed to have what? 8. Let me print this. Now you see we have what? 8. So what if I want to read all these items as 1? Okay. So we know say reading items from a list using the for loop is this for, let's say, number in numbers. Okay. Now let's consider them to be a single item. So if they are single item, we can say print what? Print number. So now when we print this, we are supposed to have them printed in the console. So we have this to be printed in the console. And we can see say okay. Now we want to read them together or read them put together. Okay. Then person change and say per se you read them as one. So you read them as one, and then since we know say items na ewo mu no e bia list nti, then this number represents each of these lists. So if we want to look through these lists one by one, then it means we can say for, let's say, data in number, not numbers, because we want to look through this number, not this numbers. Okay, this number, because this number represents each of these lists here. Okay, so I print data, and then I can say, what do I even say it? So I can say new line. Okay, new line. Okay, so meaning after printing each list, bring a new line. So let's run this. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. I hope you can see it. So that's how it goes. What if you want to separate it like this? So we can say print new line. Okay, now let me run it again. Let me clear this and run it again. So now we have each of them being printed separately. Okay, so that's how you can look through this list using the for loop. So if I want to change, let's say, the first item of the third item in this list. So for example, I want to change this 2 to, let's say, 8. Okay, or let me change it to, let's say, 20. If I want to change it to 20, it's simple. I'll say numbers, and then I'll say that's 2, and then the index of this 2 is also what? 1, and then I'll assign it to 20. Okay, 20. So if I print numbers, I'm supposed to have this to be what? This one to be 20. Now let's run it. Okay, so as you can see, we have them to be what? 20. Numbers 1. Okay, so the first, we want to change the first item, so it's supposed to be 0, not 1. Sorry. Okay, so now we have it to what? 20. Okay, so that's how you can look through a nested list or a nested data structure. So let's move on to a dictionary. So we have this data as a dictionary. Okay, we have John, we have Amma. Math is 80, maths is 90 for Amma, English is 85 for Amma, and then 70 is English is 70 for John. So right now, let's go back to our dictionaries. If you really understand dictionary, or if you can recall things that we taught in the dictionary, like what Python in tree mona, ubetimi aka say, now this is a key, and then this becomes what? A value. This is also a key, and this becomes what? A value, right? Okay. So if I want to get the data for Amma, I can say print students, and then I'll say Amma. Okay. So if I print Amma, it means the data of Amma will be what? Printed in the console. So now we have only the data for Amma. Okay, so what if I want the scores for the English score? What if I want the English score for Amma? So we may pay only the English score for Amma. So I'll just bring another square bracket and say ENG. Then if I print it, you can see that I have 85 in the console. That is the English score for what? Amma. Okay. So simple. We know say we a key and we also hear the value. And then the value we also is a dictionary on its own. Okay. Now, since this is a key, now we also say dictionary, then automatically when we call this, or whenever we want to call this anywhere, it means we are calling another dictionary. Okay. So here students Amma becomes what? A dictionary. Okay. And then with this dictionary, it has key and value. So with any key be a share square bracket after this BR means we are calling a specific what? Value. I don't know if you understand this. Very simple. Okay, let's do another example. So we have another one here. Let me see. Let me give it Kwame maths. He got 100 because I'm Kwame so I'm going to come out. So what I say, and I mean so when let's say 95. Okay, 95, not 55A. Okay, what I'm talking about now is very simple. John is a key, and this is a value. Okay, so if I want the values of John, it means I call this, and then I call John. Okay, if I want the values for English language for John, okay, or if I want English language score for John, I'll just call this and this and then and this. Very simple. Same as if I want the data for Kwame, I'll call this and Kwame. Okay. And since this is a dictionary, if I want to call for the math score for Kwame, I'll just call this, and what? Call this. So let's see. Students, and then I'll say Kwame. And another one, you will see what? English. Okay. So if I print this, let me print it. Okay. After printing, you see that I'll have Kwame's English score. So 95, right? It's as simple as ABC. Okay. Let's move on to using a loop on this. So what if we want to loop through these items here? Okay. We want to display all the values or all the elements in this dictionary. So we can say for key value, in students.items. Okay, so you need to call this method items, and then print what? Key and value. So now here you get to understand that the name say we key and we value. Okay, so now when I run this, me run it on say afi John. John a data ni ama so a data ni Kwame is what? A data ni. So now I say I treat it as value. We say I found say a value, and I found to say a key. I want only the English scores for the students. I believe you get me right now. I want only the English scores for the students. So it's simple. I can print value. Okay. So now the value becomes the score. Okay. So I told you that this is a value, but the value, and one can also a dictionary. So if the value is also a dictionary, let's say me pair, another value within that dictionary now, I will need the key. So the key is what? English. Because I said I want the English score for all the students. So if I want the English score for all the students, I'll just call the English. Running way, you see that the English score for all the students will what? Appear. Have you seen it? Same for maths. Running the bill, I want to say, and also I'm the math score for all the students. So that's how it is. Okay. Now, what if I want to look through only the score for AMA? So how am I going to do this? If I want to look through only the scores for AMA, now I can say that for, let's say, subjects score. So now this becomes the value. Now score becomes the value. This becomes what? The key. In students. Okay. So I will say AMA dot items. I believe you understand this code. So for score, for subjects score in students AMA, because I want only AMA's data, or I want to look through only AMA's data. What I say? And AMA's data no here a key and a value, but this value no a dictionary. And then when I call this, it means I'm calling the value for AMA, which is the dictionary for this, or which is the data I say, and data no so a dictionary. If I'm calling the value for AMA, let's say a dictionary, then if I call this method items, it means I want the details of this dictionary. I believe you understand me. Okay. So if I print, let's say score, or I can say subject. Let me print subject. And then I'll say score. Okay. Now, let me run this for us to see. So now, we will say maths and the English for MS score. You check MS score. Maths 90, maths 90, English 85, and English 85. So I believe you understand me. So what if I want to change the score for Kwame? That is, I want to change math score for Kwame. If I want to change math score for Kwame, simple. I'll just say student. Okay. Then I'll say Kwame. Then I'll say maths. Then I'll assign the math score to what? Let's say it is 78. Okay. Now if I print this, let me print the dictionary, the student dictionary. Okay. Okay. So if I print this, I'm supposed to have Kwame's math to be okay. It says what? Kwame. Okay. So it was a capital letter. One thing you should know is that dictionary, the keys are case sensitive. The dictionary keys are case sensitive. If it is capital letter, it should be a capital letter. If it is a lower case, it should be a lower case. Now let's run it again. So now we have Kwame's math to what? 78. I hope you can see it from here. So that's how you can look through or access data from a nested data structure using the list and also using the dictionary in Python. And I believe you learned something today. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and hit on the post notification. Share this video to other groups who want to learn Python so that we will all learn and grow together. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.